that deal. So we're gonna end it, and then we're gonna go partake in festivities on that day. So that'll be pretty fun. Pretty sure I should close the gym because it's a world holiday, not just an Irish holiday. So that'd be cool. So anyways, we're gonna end it that day. So you have 31 days to get points. If you guys look at just one day, they're all the same. You have 5 available points per day. One is balance, one is quality, one's quantity, consistency, and daily bonus. So if you hit all 5 check boxes, you get 5 points. It's really simple, guys. We kept this very, very easy to do. If you get all your points for the week, you would have 35 each week, right? No, not hard to do at all. Now, at the bottom, if you guys look at it, it tells you exactly how you're getting judged and how you get the point. For balance, you would check that box if every meal has a protein, a vegetable or fruit, carb, and a fat source at every meal. Really, really simple. We're going to get into more details to save those questions for later. Quality, you get a point if less than 500 of your total daily calories came from processed food. So crap we're not supposed to eat, or things that we don't necessarily think are the greatest for us, right? We want to eat mostly whole foods. Next up, you would get quantity. You would get a check mark if you ate a minimum of 3 balanced meals, a maximum of 5 balanced meals. Really simple. And then consistency, if you prep 1 meal per day, this is a very, very important one though, because we're going to get into this later. If you prep 1 meal per day, you get that point. And then last but not least, if you hit all 4 of those things, you get another point just for doing all 4 together. Because if you did all 4, you are seriously on your way to making some serious changes. Does that make sense? If you get like 2 out of 4, that's obviously you're doing 50% of the work. If you hit 3 out of 4, you're obviously doing 75% of the work. If you get all 4, there's no reason, guys, that you should not be heading in the right direction. Okay? Now, daily points available are 5. Weekly points available are 35. And then you would just put your February total points at the bottom. Really, really simple system. Now, on the right-hand side at the bottom, it says bonus points. It just says challenge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. No one knows what the bonus challenges are. Listen very carefully. They will only be announced on Elk Grove Fieldhouse's Instagram. You don't know if it's going to be in the feed. You don't know if it's going to be in the story. It's going to be a sneaky one. This is where the challenge part comes in. So you guys got to stalk Elk Grove Fieldhouse Instagram like crazy mofos. Once the cat's out of the bag, guys, everybody's going to know. So communicate, right? Once it's out of the bag. But majority of the time, I'll probably post it, okay? What the points are worth is whatever I say in the video. So you don't know. It could be a point. It could be 50 points. You have no idea. It could be 1 challenge. It could be multiple challenges. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think you guys are really going to like this. And there might be all kind of weird stuff, okay? So just pay attention. I'll walk you guys through it. I'll tell you what the challenge is. You and your partner do it. You prove you did it, blah, 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 blah. We'll get into that in just a second. So basically, if the weekly challenge is worth 15 points and you get it, you and your partner get on your score sheet 15 points. So week 1, you put 15 points for me, 15 points for your partner. Add them up. Go on. Yeah, by week, you just tell me the total points. Okay?
It's not like an everyday challenge.
No, once a week. Once a week, you'll have a series of challenges, maybe. So, a series of challenges, but only 1 video to find. So you only have to find 1 video on Instagram. And then we'll get into how you get scored for it, and I'll make sure you get those points. All right, so scorecards. Those make sense? Pretty easy, right? So what you guys are going to do, you're going to put your name really big at the top. Your partner is going to hold your scorecard the entire challenge. You do not get to see your scorecard until the end. Your partner holds your scorecard. So make sure you guys that your partners aren't here. On Monday, you need to flip-flop, okay? Or if you're super smart, you just write your partner's name on your sheet that you have, and you take it home. And you tell your partner when they come to the gym, write my name on your scorecard and take it home. Good? All right. That's my hint of the day for the smart folks. Now, actually, I'll keep this. So let's go through. So what are the big 4 things we need when we're doing nutrition, guys? The first thing I ask people when they come to me and they want to start working on nutrition, and it's really funny, it's my favorite 2 questions. I'm like, well, hey, let's meet you where you're at, right? We need to find out what you actually eat. So that's the first question I ask. I'm like, what do you eat? Obviously, we talk about a lot more than that. What's your goals, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, what do you eat? How much of it? blah, 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 blah. Do not need to get that far ahead of ourselves, right? We need to focus on one thing at a time. What do you eat? Some people are like, well, you know, like whatever. Like I just wake up and then eat food and then eat some more food. And I'm like, awesome. First thing we should probably do is start a journal, right? We should probably figure out like, hey, is there any consistency to this thing whatsoever? Okay, she's fine. Oh, you're okay. So what is going to be our big thing on this nutrition challenge? So what we need to be eating is predominantly whole foods. I think we've all heard this 50,000 times. There is no substitute for good whole food, guys. There's not this packaged awesome thing that somebody branded that's like better than whole food. It doesn't exist. That's somebody's marketing bullshit to try to get you to buy their product that they make millions of dollars off of. Buy the thing that was in the earth or on the earth that was killed to eat or grown to be picked. It's whole food. It's cheaper, it's better, it's just good for you. It's what we're meant to eat, okay? So what do we eat? We need to be eating whole food, okay? We'll get into the different categories and we'll go over each, like the macros, and give you guys some ideas so everybody's on the same page. Now, how much of it do you eat? Most people have no clue at all. They're like, dude, I don't know. I just put plate on a food and I eat it. That's actually fine. Intuitive eating is totally fine. You don't need to weigh and measure your food. You don't need to get completely psycho about it, but you do need to have an idea. At some point in your life, you need to spend a little bit of time figuring out how much food am I taking in to know if you're eating the correct amount or not. Are we chronically undereating? Are we chronically overeating? Or are we hitting it just right? If you don't know, you should probably spend a little bit of time trying to figure that out, okay? So I think this challenge that we're doing for 31 days is gonna be a really good way to do that, okay? So how much is literally just the quantity. All right, and then one of the big ones we want to talk about during this is balance. So that's gonna be our three big categories. A lot of people don't understand balance, and what that means is how we get scored, right? We're going for, we need a protein, carb, a fat, and a fruit or vegetable at every meal. This is the big one. Balance is key. All right, so now we're going to do kind of open forum instead of me lecturing at you guys. We're going to kind of go through and we're going to make this the simplest nutrition seminar on planet Earth. Okay? So far, does anybody have any questions about anything that we've talked about? Really, really simple, right? Easy to score, easy to understand. It's what, how much, and balance is all we're really worried about. We're not going to get into when. That nutrition timing stuff, you're probably 3 to 4 years away from that whole thing, right? So when you're like super competitive athlete and like everything depends on, you know, highest level of performance, then we can talk about when. For right now, let's just learn what to eat and kind of how much of it to eat, okay? All right, so let's start off with the what. So is everyone familiar with the 3 major macro groups? Proteins, carbs, and fats. Everybody at least heard those terms before in your life, right? So just to make sure we're on the same page. So we have protein, carbs, and fats. Proteins, basically you're gonna have your eggs, we're gonna have any type of like dairy product has a ton of protein in it, and then we're gonna have all of our meats, right? We don't believe in good food, bad food, there's just good, better, best. Because food is good for you. If you're starving and you haven't had food in months and I give you anything, it's good. Does that make sense? It's all relative. But there's a better option, and then there's always the best option, right? And this is where we get into our arguments of like, well, should I get my chicken, you know, farm raised? It was the only chicken on the whole farm. And when they killed it, they told it a story first. And they fed it, you know, and then they injected it with something that was totally pure. They didn't cut its head off. You know, exactly. So that's where we get in those arguments. So there is better and best, right? But it's a chicken. Eat the chicken. If I eat a chicken, Daniel eats chicken, we eat chicken. I don't really care at the end of the day, right? Eat your chicken. So protein sources. Does anybody have any question about protein sources? I feel like this is kind of the most basic one. Not complicated, right? It's just each meats, each eggs. Dairy has a lot of protein in it. Whey protein, obviously our supplements, that's made out of dairy. Whey is, you know, from milk, cheese, that kind of stuff. That's where we get it from. Super easy. Eat it. Every meal should probably start with protein. So when you're thinking, oh, it's time to eat, the first thing I want you to think about is, what protein am I eating? Base every meal around that, and you're already on your way to a completely different body composition, lifestyle, the whole 9 yards. Make that the first thought you do, okay? So we have our eggs and meats, dairy, and then vegetarian options, right? So if any of you guys are vegetarian, yeah, there's totally a million ways to get protein from veggies as well. Next up, we have our carbs. This is one that there's a lot of debate about, right? We get a lot of arguments about what's good carb, what's bad carb. Remember, guys, good, better, best. Always remember that. There's good carbs, there's better carbs, and there's best carbs, okay? So what I want you guys to do is, since we're going to be eating whole foods, let's go over a couple of whole food options, okay? How many of you ever shopped at Sprouts supermarket? Raise your hand if you have. Okay. When you walk into Sprouts, right when you walk in the door, there is a long aisles of bulk bins. They look like barrels. It's called bulk food. The only ingredient on that label is whatever that food is, because it's usually like a grain or a nut or a seed or whatever. That is a whole carbohydrate. Like think of a bean, like right, it's all beans, all that kind of stuff. There's nothing else in it. If you can walk right up to it, scoop it with a scooper and put it in your own bag, put your own label on it, and it doesn't say anything else on it, that's a whole food. It's good for you. Do not eliminate anything. I will never tell you to eliminate. I might ask you to limit. Does that make sense? Way different way of coaching nutrition. Never ask you to eliminate, I'll ask you to limit. Now, whole carbohydrates. Let's go down the laundry list real quick. Popular. Give me the, yeah, bro time, right? Rice. Eat a lot of it. Rice, oats, potatoes. A combo is fruit. Because fruit packs a punch of micronutrients, which we'll get into in a little bit, but it's also a really great carb source because it has a ton of carbs in it. So that one's best bang for your buck. So rice, oats, potatoes, fruit,
Broccoli.
and vegetable. We won't count it. It is a carb. You're correct. So veggies are carbs. But not in our world. Not in our world, they're not.
Quinoa.
Quinoa, good one. Quinoa. What else you got, guys? What do y'all eat for carbs?
What pasta? Potato.
Pasta. I got potatoes, pastas. Keep going, man. We need a lot of carbs.
Bread.
Bread's carbs.
I love bread.
Bread loves you too.
Yes, it does. It does. Sticks with me.
Anything else you guys like?
Couscous.
Couscous? That's a grain.
Pancakes.
Pancake.
French toast.
You see where this is going real quick? Yeah. So we're like, hella good, we're so smart. Oh shit. Where is the pancake field where they grow these? You know, it's like sunflowers, you know, and then all of a sudden like the pancakes just like pop off the arms. And you're like, oh, I'll pick that pancake and waffle. All right. So yeah, exactly. So at least we got it. So like wheat, right? Tortilla, yeah, tortilla trees. So think about, yeah, kind of, that's a good way to think about it. It's funny, but that is how you need to think about it. Just the ones that weren't grown are good. They're just not better or best. Make sense? Still good, eat them, no big deal. They're just not better or best. And we'll get to how to limit that and take control of your life in a few. All right, so you guys get the idea. I like a lot of these, nothing wrong with it. I'm not gonna ask you to eliminate your pancakes. I'm just gonna ask you to limit your pancakes, okay? Remember that word, it's the key of the day. All right, fats. This one gets a little bit tricky too. I eat a very limited fat diet. Very, very limited. And my diet is predominantly low fat. I eat a very high carbohydrate, very high protein, low fat diet. And that comes way later down the road when we do like individual stuff. I've found that that's what kind of works for me. And this year I'm pushing it to the extreme just because of the sports I do. I'm gonna try an extremely high carbohydrate, extremely high protein, very low fat diet. I'll let you know if it works out. Never done it. I've done a pretty high both, but I've never done an extreme. So I'll let you know how it works. So I test pretty much everything before I'll ever ask the client to kind of mess around with some stuff, okay? So fats, give me some sources, guys. Angie, what do you eat for fats?
Avocado.
Yeah, that's my favorite. So avocados,
Nut butter.
nuts, and butters.
Olive oil.
Oils.
Seeds.
Seeds, that's a good one. A lot of people forget about.
Egg yolk.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, I'm glad somebody said it. Animal fat, right? I'm from the South, man. This is straight up like, you don't waste that. You eat the whole, you use every. Yeah, exactly. It's super healthy, right? Probably not. All good though. It's true though. It's true. So, and then we're going to get into combo foods here in a second. You notice how I ignored the egg and the cheese. Right, so yes, so we'll get into that. So avocado, nuts and seeds, oil, stuff like that. That's pretty simple, right? There are some combo foods that kind of fall into more than one category, and we'll put those up so you guys understand it. It's not that big of a deal. You just need to make a mental note of like, oh, when I eat a combo food, I don't need to compensate for the other thing. Does that make sense? So we'll get into that. So it's pretty simple. When I eat eggs, I don't need an avocado with them. There's a ton of fat in my eggs, and there's no need to add extra fat on top of a lot of fat. Does that make sense? So when we talk about balance. All right, so does anybody have any questions so far? It's really simple, right? It's not complicated at all. We're just like, cool, like we're just breaking it down in our macro groups. This is how we're gonna work out balance. And now I'm gonna give you guys some general guidelines to kind of live by for the next 31 days, and you're gonna kind of pick up on this stuff really fast. So, next piece of the puzzle, how much? We already determined that on the scorecard, guys. I don't care, 3 to 5. 3 to 5 balanced meals per day, I don't care. When you have shown me, any nutrition client I work with, when you've shown me you can eat 3 to 5 balanced meals every day for about a month, then and only then will I start talking to you about calories and macros. If you can't do this, you are not ready to diet. I use that word very loosely. Diet just means what you eat. That's what the definition actually means. Diet is what you eat. It doesn't mean you're at a caloric deficit. It doesn't mean you're a caloric surplus. It's just a word, right? So we throw it around a little too loosely these days. So I will not go further into it until you've shown me that, hey, yes, I can put together balanced meals 3 to 5 times a day, every day for 31 days. Cool, graduated. Now let's get specific to you, right? So the next nutrition kickoff that we do is going to get a little more individualized. It's going to take a lot longer. Instead of doing one kickoff seminar, I'm going to need to do several over the course of like a month and get every single person kind of in my office for 15 minutes, work out your numbers, and once the whole gauntlet of people has their numbers, then we can put together a format and another challenge and make it fun. Does that make sense? But it needs to get individualized. You cannot do it unless you graduate from this one though. If the same rules apply. Just because you guys do it in a group doesn't mean I can like make different efforts for you. Okay? So all I need to see is 3 to 5 per day. What do we got next on the list? So let's go over, yes?
Does that include snacks?
Great question. We'll get into that in just a second. These are all my fun things. So I like making notes and then doing all the fun stuff at the end. You guys see, I get joy out of the way you present this stuff. It's fun. I know, I'm so sad Dave Castro got fired from CrossFit because he does a great job of that. He thinks about how he presents stuff. If you guys didn't know Dave Castro got fired, then now you do. Now you do. Anyhow, so balance. Protein, carbs, fats, and then fruit or veggie. So 3 to 5 times a day. You need all of these things to happen at least 3 times and a maximum of 5 times. Okay? I don't care about portions yet. We're not there. Just keep that in mind. Just eat until you're full and be done with it. Now, how do I get my points for this? Do we want to go honor system? Do we want to slide our partner $100 and be like, yo, just give me my points every day and let's do this, right? We have to have a system of checks and balances. You have to have accountability because chances are you probably picked a partner you like. So they're going to be super nice to you, and they're going to be all encouraging, and they're not going to it's like getting your buddy to judge you in the open. They're like, God, I want to no-rep you so bad because you're doing a push-up, and the movement's actually snatches. But I'm not going to no-rep you. They just give you a rep. So you need to be accountable. So I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you 3 different ways to be accountable to your partner. Partners, please hold them to it. We're adults. If they can't stick to the adherence, they don't get the point. I know it's bringing your team down. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. So you have 3 ways. Way number 1, you can take a picture and send it to your partner every day. At the end of the day, you send them 3 to 5 pictures. That's your meals. They look at it, like, oh, yep, looks balanced to me. Boom, you get your point. No big deal. It doesn't have to be ridiculous. The second one is you can log it into a fitness app. So MyFitnessPal is the most well-rounded one on earth. There's not a food left that doesn't have it. Under Armour bought that company a couple of years ago and pumped up tens of millions of dollars in it. And now their database is absolutely monstrous. So if it exists, it's probably in MyFitnessPal. You just type it in, boom. So remember that. That's the most accurate. So log it. And then old school way, young kids won't even know what we're talking about. Pen, and paper. They still make it, man. They still make it. It's for real. You can buy like notebooks. It's cool. You can keep it with you. You like pull a pen out of your pocket, write shit down. It's awesome. You can't text it to a friend though. So you got to take out your smartphone, take a picture of it, send it to your buddy. But anyways, pen and paper. I don't care. You guys agree with your partner which one you want to do and which one you think you'll believe them. If they send you the most gorgeous looking pictures of food and it looks like Ramsey guy, whatever his name is, did it, and you kind of notice in the background there's really nice tablecloths and stuff, they probably stole that shit off the internet, okay? So that's not really what they were eating. So just call them out, like, hey, where are you at right now? Like, I need to see your kitchen. So make sure you get that, okay? All right, so any questions up to this point? You guys good? Pretty simple, right? All right, so let's go over the goodies. We already know what our proteins are, we already know what our carbs are, fats are. Now, here's my first little spiel. It's really simple. You already built your menu, guys. It's there, right in front of you. It's really simple. You don't need to think about it. Whole foods. Choose one thing from the protein category, one thing from the carb category, one thing from the fat category, and then pick a fruit or a vegetable and throw it on your plate. You're done. You got your point. Move on. It doesn't need to be complicated. It's that simple, guys. If the majority of our population were to just do step one, the obesity rate would be so much less. I mean, like, hugely less. We could solve the world's problems with just that one part. And like I said, I have four things I go over because I want you guys to be like badass athletes when we're done with you. But still, just do this and you're good to go. You'll never be overweight again. It's awesome. So, put them together. Any questions about that? Straightforward, right? Pick one from each category, put it together. Yes?
About the process. So does that mean like if you bought a steamer bag instead of buying the actual
We're almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, we're almost there. So, we got the basics. Now, quantity. How many times do you need to do that, guys?
3 to 5.
Thank you. We're done with this. We're done talking about it. 3 to 5. 3 to 5. We're not done with that. 3 to 5. Make it really simple. All right. And last piece of the puzzle. Combo foods. We do need to cover this real quick just so you guys don't get, a lot of people aren't educated on this. So they like, oh crap, I really messed up my macros. We're not doing macros yet, but combo foods. Eggs are high in protein and very, very high in fat. The fat calories in eggs are way more than the protein. So just remember, when you eat a whole egg, you are consuming a very large amount of fat calories. Does everybody know how calories are broken down across macronutrients? Carbs and protein. Every gram is worth 4 calories. Fats. Every gram is worth 9 calories. That makes sense? Over double. And that's why we don't want to overeat fat. There's nothing wrong with fat. It's great for you. It's great for your hormones, great for working out, it's great for mental clarity, all that. But if you engorge yourself in fats, like too many nuts throughout the day, that kind of stuff, the calorie count gets out of control. Does that make sense? So nothing wrong with them. You just got to keep everything in check. Okay? So combo foods, eggs is the big one. A lot of people don't know. So during breakfast, when you're eating 2 or 3 eggs, every egg has 5 grams of fat. I tell most people, most common Americans, I'm like, hey, about 15 grams of fat per meal should do you pretty good. So if you had 3 eggs, your fat's covered, right? There's no need to add avocado on your toast with your Trader Joe's bagel seasoning and your 3 eggs. And like, y'all know, man, come on, that's what you eat for breakfast. You love it. It's good, right? But let's just hold back on the avocado for that meal. Let's save the avocado for when we're like straight bro meal after our workout and we're just doing like chicken, rice, and broccoli, and that shit tastes so boring and bland. Now throw the avocado in that with some salsa and some hot sauce. Now you have a tasty bro meal. Make sense? Way better, right? So save it for when it's appropriate and you're gonna thank me later, okay? So, combos. Dairy is the other really, really, really big one. Dairy typically has all of the macros in it. So like all the things. So it has carbs, fats, and protein in pretty good chunks. So just make sure you guys are being mindful when you're consuming dairy, okay? Start looking at your packages. Now, dairy is going to fall into another category that we're going to get into here pretty soon that you're going to learn. Like, this is what we're doing. This is one of the learning parts of this challenge, is you're going to start to really catch on to dairy. There is very limited dairy on this planet that falls into a whole food category, unless you straight up went and got it from the cow. If it went from that cow to your house, something had to happen to it. 90% of the time, unless you're Terry and Taylor, they get theirs straight raw, right? Yeah, Terry and Taylor straight up raw, so theirs is technically a whole food because it animal to home. I don't know if I'm that brave or not, but do whatever you gotta do. They steal it at night from the cows. So let's get the snack thing real quick. All right. So I don't want to tell you about snacks. I don't want to tell you if they're good, bad, or whatever. I need you to tell me based off everything I just told you. Where do your snacks fit?
They're one of the 3 to 5 foods. No,
Depends. Is it? Oh no, you tell me.
it could be.
Could be.
If
If
it's balanced.
yes.
Oh.
You can have snacks if it has protein, carb, fat, fruit, or vegetable.
So like a shake, basically.
It's got it, whatever you want it to be. It doesn't matter. There's no rules. You just have to have, even if it's a snack, just balance it. Okay? There is no such thing as just having nuts or just having a piece of fruit or just having this. Like, balance it.
So
Yes.
make it one of the 3.
What about? If you look at the back of the package and it says coffee, coffee beans, yeah, you're good. You're good. We'll get into all the little stuff. Any more questions about
So you're
snacks?
saying like, so basically, you're not just having, like some people, like, okay, so like my kids might eat just like an apple for a snack, but you're saying, no, eat an apple with peanut butter and, yeah, there you go.
Balance that shit.
Yeah, got it.
Balance. Yesterday, for example, like snack. Yesterday, I grabbed an apple. And as I'm eating my apple, I'm like, well, I guess we're finding something else. And I grabbed a handful of nuts. And then I looked in the kitchen. I pulled out a small chicken wing that was like left over from dinner. And I was like, bam, done. And then I went to my friend's house and we ate there. You know what I mean? It's like, that was my snack. But I just walked around and balanced it out real quick. It's not hard. Just protein has to happen. The fat has to happen. The carb has to happen. Cool thing is, fruit is a combo food.
Yeah.
I hit my carbs and I hit my fruit or vegetable because I ate an apple. So that's why I love fruit. We keep so much fruit around the house and I eat it pretty often because I don't have to go in search of a vegetable. I'm like, oh, I got a fruit. It's got micronutrients. So it makes it easy. So I highly recommend always keep some type of fruit on a basket. Always try to get 2. My rule is 2. And they're always 2 different colors. Color tells you what's in the food. Does that make sense? We want to eat the rainbow. If you eat the rainbow, it gives you your micronutrients you need. You don't need to think, oh, am I low in iron? Am I low in zinc? Am I low in magnesium? Am I low in whatever? Just eat the rainbow. Eat a lot of variety of meats. Eat a lot of variety of carbs. The more variety you have in your diet, the more micronutrients you're going to get. Does that make sense? So eat a lot of different things. It's pretty fun. Do you have a question from a second?
Yeah, so do the snacks count as a part of my meal? So if I had 3,
If you balanced it,
yes.
it's now a meal.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It just might be a smaller meal. So we're not talking about portions yet. Remember that. The meal could be this big or the meal could be this big. I don't care. If you're eating whole foods and you're balancing your meals, your body will auto-regulate itself every single time. It is so hard to overeat good quality food because it's satiating. It makes you feel good. You have tons of energy. You don't think about eating again after you eat good food. But it was funny. We have cereal in the house right now because our kids. Who eats it all? Me and my wife. The other day, Angela was like, yeah, I eat a lot of it. Love it. And but Angela had a good point the other day. I said something about, God, man, all I want is cereal. Like every time I see it, I just want cereal, right? It's so good. She was like, yeah, I had a small bowl after a workout the other day because I need a carb source. And she's like, then the rest of the day, all she wanted was cereal. And I'm like, dude, just don't eat the cereal. Eat the well-balanced meal. You'll be full and satiated. You won't even think about food again for 3 to 4 hours. You know what I mean? It's an easy way to solve that problem of the snacking and the crappy food. It's just don't eat the crappy food. Balance your meal, and then you'll be satiated for the whole time. Like, that's what real foods do. Okay? I know, it's hard. Get it out of your house. Yes?
Are you going to talk about like dairy alternatives like almond milk,
Sure.
nut milk?
Let's go ahead and jump into it. So now, do you guys see how this is funneling, though? Like, it's so simple. Everybody's like, oh, I get it, Josh. Move on. And we keep bottlenecking these certain questions because they all fall under one category. All right, what's not a whole food? During this challenge, normally I would say, hey, if it has more than one ingredient, it's not a whole food. Well, there's a little gray area there, okay? The gray area is 2. And our rule during this challenge is 80-20, okay? So on your scorecards, you guys will see that it says quality, less than 500 calories of processed food. You need to know the why. The rule of thumb, if we eat 80% whole foods and 20% whatever else, we are good to go. okay? The 500 comes from the standard American diet. I want everyone to be equal in this challenge and not go based off of how big you are, how many calories you eat. It needs to be a little more fair so we all get the same allotment. For example, break down the numbers for you. The average American diet is between 2,000 and 3,000 calories per day. Okay? So just think small people need 2,000, muscular people need 3,000. Okay? Obviously there's outliers to everything, whatever. We're just generic numbers. So we're just going generic. 20% of 3,000, 600. 20% of 2,000, 400. We're going right in the middle. You get 500 calories per day of whatever. So how you get that score is if you eat it and it has more than 2 ingredients, you have to log it. You have to. Because you need to learn during these 31 days what foods are screwing you up. Because if you were eating only off this menu, you wouldn't be taking this challenge right now. There's no way. You'd be shreddy, dude. Like, you just can't, it's good food, right? You can't mess it up. So something's happening where we're either overeating some of these processed foods or we're just not putting it together correctly. Does that make sense? So everyone gets 500. So we're not eliminating anything during this challenge. We're limiting everything to 500.
Question though. So because some things that have more than one ingredient, let's say a trail mix, right?
Yes.
Those are still, wouldn't you still consider that a whole food if it's like say the trail mix is like peanuts, almonds. Yeah, like,
So
you
it
know
has
what I mean?
like fig.
Process.
It would still be, well, would you consider it like a trail mix, something like that, like processed or no?
Yeah, because if it's, I highly doubt there's a real fresh fruit in there.
Oh, that's
it's a dried fruit. It had to get processed.
Okay,
I highly doubt
I know what
that
you're saying.
the salting process on those
Yeah,
peanuts
yeah.
was done by nature. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're
It
saying.
had to be processed.
So yogurt would be considered processed.
For sure. 100%. So let's go over that.
So it's not just-
What falls into my 500 calories? If it has more than 2 ingredients. That makes it really easy. So we came up with the 2 rule because normally I would say 1, but if you look in my cupboard, a couple of great sources of food that I don't want to cut back on are whole wheat pasta. If you turn it over on the back, the ingredient list is 1, durum wheat. That's it. Nothing else. There's no other ingredient. There's no salt, there's no preservative, there's nothing. It's just durum wheat. That's the only thing. I'm not going to stop eating whole wheat pasta. It's freaking, I eat like 500 grams carbs a day. Where else am I going to get my carbohydrates from, right? Like, you can't eat broccoli and rice all day long. We need variety, right? Really good breads. Sourdough bread is awesome. It's like yeast and flour. It has 2 ingredients. It's so minimally processed, right? It's almost like a naturally occurring thing. When you stick them together, it makes bread. So it's not bad for you, right? So I'm not going to count that. That's going to go into my just normal diet, right? I don't have to count it if it has 2 ingredients or less. Make sense? 2 ingredients or more, it's not going to fit. So Paul, glad you brought it up, bro. McDonald's, fast food, right? Where does it fit? You can eat it, man. Every McDonald's fast food place in the world has calories all over the menu. If it's more than 500, no.
Less, right?
If it's less than 500,
Cheeseburgers, 300.
it fits. Yeah. Learn how to manipulate the system. I don't care, bro. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Yes. It's still processed. The yogurt we didn't grow yogurt, we didn't plant yogurt, we didn't pull it from, it didn't come out of a cow. It's processed. It's the ingredient list has to be more than 2. If it's not, you can have it. Does that make sense? So if you found some badass yogurt and it's literally only got like what would be in it? Yeah, so if you pop your yogurt up and it only has 2 ingredients, don't count it towards your 500 calories. Count it towards your whole foods. So if you found a really good one, eat it all day. Like I said, I don't want to eliminate anything. Hell yeah, man, slam dairy all day long. Just eat the best kind you can get. Questions? We making headway? You guys starting to see this funnel? All right. So let's make sure everyone gets it real quick before I send you into the wild, and then we'll do a quick Q&A. So listen up, guys. Last part.
What if there's a nutrition label on your food?
Then it's awesome.
Because vodka doesn't have a nutrition
Yeah. What is vodka? It's like
Potato.
and like one other thing. Does not count. Just kidding. It's processed, obviously. But you can fit it into your 500. You can still have a shot of vodka every day. So when you're eating processed foods, make sure you use MyFitnessPal so you can start getting it. So you can start really seeing what is in those foods. I mean, in a perfect world, all of you would just do MyFitnessPal for the whole 31 days. That'd be great, but whatever. You do whatever you gotta do.
So really, if it has three ingredients or more, that's when you log it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's when you have to.
Bread has more than 2 ingredients.
It depends.
Water doesn't count.
Yeah, water doesn't count. Water doesn't count. Water, yeast, and flour. Water doesn't count as an ingredient. So if your thing says water, yeast, and flour, you're good. Water is not an ingredient. Keep that in mind. Yeah, no, there is. Everything, just like they were saying yogurt, right? A lot of yogurts have like 20 ingredients. Great yogurt has like 2. Yeah, so Greek yogurt is really good for you. Sorry. All right. So 80% of your day is made up from the good stuff. We don't care about tracking the 80. Eat the good stuff. All I care about is you have to track your 500 calories of not the greatest.
Yeah.
Make sense?
That's per day.
Yep, per day. Per day. We're not gonna go AT&T or Verizon here. I thought about doing it. We're not gonna do it because I don't trust you guys. We're not gonna do rollover. No rollover. I was gonna do rollover. No, you will not save your 500 calories and then binge. That is a bad habit, guys. That's a bad habit. Do not save your calories up and then binge. Not right now. There's a time and a place for that kind of crap. That's for individualized nutrition coaching. That's when you come up to me and you got shredded because you did your nutrition for 6 months, but you're like, bro, I'm going to this party and there's this cake I just love and it's like 3,000 calories, but I have to have it. I'm going to be like, you know what? We're going to get you that cake and then we'll work on it. But that's another time, another place, right? All right, any more questions? We should be pretty good by now.
Can you cover spices and seasonings?
Eat them. Eat them. Eat them all. I'm not worried about that right now. We're getting too nitpicky. Yeah. At that point, because some seasonings do have like whatever calories, it's too much for right now. We need to can we just do this first? Does that make sense? We gotta get this part down first until we start worrying about all the nitpicky stuff. So, during this challenge, no one is allowed to ask me a couple of questions that just drive me bonkers. Okay? So let's get into that, because this is the fun part. This is stuff that makes you laugh. Not that you guys haven't been laughing the whole time, but I try to keep it funny. All right. Question number 1 is meal timing. Well, Josh, should I eat breakfast? I heard it's good to intermittent fast. I heard it's good to just drink nothing but Shiranobu tea for 8 hours of your day and then switch to just stop. Just stop.
But I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Eat these things this many times and don't go over that with your other stuff. That's it. I don't care what time you eat. If you're hungry, 3 in the morning, and it wakes you up and you can't sleep anymore, go downstairs, eat the damn food, and go back to bed. I don't care. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Okay? No, but Josh, I can't have carbs after 6 p.m. Shut your face. Why? You're a grown individual. Eat your carbs. They're good for you. Okay? What's another funny one? Coffee gets a lot of heckle, man. Coffee is a coffee bean, right? It's a coffee bean. It's a natural thing. Grind it up. It's no big deal. There's no process to that. I mean, you had to hit a button to grind the coffee grind, but I mean, is that really processing? It's all the things we put in our coffee. So when you go to Starbucks, yes, put in your order from Starbucks. I highly recommend, so you don't have to, you just order coffee, black. Keep it simple. Okay? Keep it simple. Because once they start pumping all that stuff in there, man, it goes up real quick, dude. That $500 or 500 calorie latte just gets out of control. And they have like, what's the sugar in an average drink over there? It's something stupid, yeah. Yeah, it's something dumb. You get about 100 calories just from the sugar intake that they put in there. So it's pretty crazy. All right, so we've got all the pieces to the puzzle. Make sure your partners understand. I'm going to post this video right here of me running my mouth for 30 minutes on YouTube. I'll send out the email today so your partners have it. It's not complicated, guys. There's nothing. I did not make this hard. I don't make my nutrition coaching hard either. It's the same thing. Come back to me with acing this like a test, and I say, cool, you've earned the right to go into part number 2 now. It's really simple. The problem is we don't have accountability and we don't have consistency with it. We do it for 5 or 6 days, then we fall off one. And we do it 5 or 6 days, and we fall off one. And we never get it for the 30, 31 days. Dude, that's why we're here. That's why you got $25 in the game each. That's why there's $1,000 worth of grand prizes. Plus, I added to the mix, the winning team will get nutrition from me for free. Okay, so you guys will move on to part 2. So whoever wins will get part 2. So you get to start really learning about your specific calorie intake, macronutrient breakdowns, and those kinds of things. And that's where we really start to see some awesome like body composition changes. Okay, but you guys should get a good little punch of this. And like I said, it's just a kickstart. This isn't like a start and stop thing. We're gonna keep going. If you want in the next one, you have to master this first one. Does that make sense? So instead of doing it like one-on-one, I'm just allowing a larger group of people to do it together. And that way you guys don't have to, I can't service all of you guys, let's be honest. I mean, I would get burned out if I took a nutrition client. I have 180 members or whatever. It's just too much. So after a lot of debate and talking, we decided to do it in this format because you guys can ask questions, talk to me one-on-one, and then we'll just keep doing this kickoff thing until we get all of you to that end game where then we start talking about your green tea mochas in the morning and your pre-workout poops and all that good stuff, okay? It gets real fun. We talk a lot about poop when you get into performance athletics. So let's go around, quick Q&A. We're gonna keep it really simple. I'm gonna start on this side of the room and I'm just gonna scan my way across. So if you have any questions, now is the time to do it. So we're gonna start off with this side of the room. Do you guys have any questions? Do I need to clarify anything? Or are we pretty good to go?
Just one prepped meal. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, so thank you. I totally skipped over that. Now, one of the parts of the challenge, I thought that I made this challenge pretty simple and kind of easy to follow. I wanted to put one monkey wrench in it that was going to throw everybody for a curveball. I'm glad Angie brought it up. It's very important. I want you guys to pick the one meal a day you feel like gives you the most heckle. The one that you're always like, should I go here to this restaurant or should I go grab that or what am I going to make? And I want you to prep that one meal every single day for 31 days. It can change, but if it's breakfast, I need it to be breakfast every day. If it's lunch, I need it to be lunch every day. If it's post-workout every day. If it's dinner every day. Pick one meal, and you have to prove to your partner that you prep that meal the day before, every single day.
So not like on a Monday, prep that meal for 4 days. We have to do it every day.
That's fine too.
Okay.
Pre-prep it. So if you took a picture of like 5 meals and you're like, hey, it's all the same thing, send that to your partner and be like, hey, I want my consistency check for the week. Does that make sense? That one's really important. Yeah, that one's consistency. Consistency. Has everybody seen on Instagram the videos of myself, Terry, Coach Rachel talking about meals? Did you guys know anything or notice anything similar between the three of us? Everything kind of came in a container that we put together ourselves. Does anybody notice how like we prep everything? Dude, we eat the same stuff every single day, all the time. Sean's hella consistent. Our awesome Masters athlete's back. You guys don't know Sean. Sean, give him a big wave. You guys don't know him. So Sean, how much sugar do you eat in a week? Almost none. How do you know what you're eating tomorrow? For pretty much the whole day?
Yeah, it's the same almost every day.
Yeah. How old are you?
Old.
Yeah, he's old. Old and gray. I want you guys to go around these 31 days. I want you to talk to our competitive athletes. I want you to talk to our coaches. And I want you to ask them questions. Hey, what do you eat? Do you know what you're eating tomorrow? How much sugar do you eat in a week? All going to say the same thing. Yes, I can tell you every single thing I'm going to eat tomorrow. And I can tell you the portion sizes. I can tell you how much it weighs. And I can tell you what my macros will be at the end of the day to between 2 calories. I have it down to a science. My food that I log should be 2,853. I usually get somewhere between 2,851 and 2,855. Like it's that dialed to a science. I want you guys to have that. I don't want you to live that life where you feel like you have to live like that. I want you to have the education to know how. Does that make sense? Then once you have the tools and knowledge, we all know the old school saying, once you have knowledge is power, right? Once you know, no one can ever take it away from you. Then it's on you if you actually do it or not. But if we do it as a group, your chances of succeeding are way higher than everyone else's, right? So let's keep this thing going all year round. All right, so we got that covered. Next. Questions?
Scoring for like partners versus individual, like how does that work exactly? We're just scored as a team and then our individual.
Your individual scorecard will come to me and I'll put them together. your chances of winning or losing is your team score. So you get 100 points, you get 100 points, team score is 200. Okay? There are hidden tiebreakers that no one knows about, not even the other coaches. So they can't give it away to you and can't ruin it. So let's say somebody, like, people are going to take this seriously, right? There's a couple people that I know are going to be like, they're going to nail it. They're going to get the points every day. They're going to hit everything. So we're going to have a tie at the end. I guarantee you, 2 or 3 teams are going to tie. They're going to come back with the max amount of points. There are 2 hidden tiebreakers that you have no clue. In the email, I gave you the 2 hints. That's all I'm going to say. If you didn't read the email, sorry. Talk to your partner and read your emails. Okay? More questions, more questions, more questions. Water. Drink it. Are you thirsty? Drink some. I'm thirsty right now, actually. Drink some. Questions. Betty? Jess? You guys? Sure?
We're talking
Me?
about clues
It's good? Good for you?
When is the last day to sign up? Because I know my partner doesn't.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, technically. It starts Monday. Yeah, so it starts Monday, so just hit me up, let me know. You got a partner though? Okay, now. You're like, well, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Questions, you guys? You guys straight? Good to go? What? You lose it? Yeah.
Protein bar.
Does it have more than 2 ingredients? Okay, it just goes in here. You can have it. Don't get rid of it. Like, I'm still gonna take my protein powder every day.
Yeah.
It's only 120 calories. Eats up, you know what I mean? I still have 380 to go. So no big deal. Yeah, have your things, guys. Like I said, I'm not eliminating anything. I'm not telling you not to eat anything. Remember that. You get 500 calories. It's plus if you're doing like healthy options, like anything that does have more than 2 ingredients that's healthy, like supplements, take them. Yeah, you should be able to fit 500 calories of supplements in every single day. Like your post-workout routine, if it's a little crazy, like Rachel, dry balling everything you can possibly imagine. She started doing snorting stuff the other day. I was like, okay, now I'm concerned. She's like, it's faster into my system. Pretty crazy.
That never happened.
All right, so that is all I have. I don't think I forgot anything. I'm pretty sure that is it. It's not very complicated, so let's do it. Oh, cool. That worked out perfectly. Good to go? All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Get ready for